Good morning friends. Today we are going to study about the cranial nerves. Cranial nerves. Today's major concern is on the topic of functional component. Functional component. What are functional components and how we can apply them on cranial nerves or any nerves. Today I will also going to tell you in brief about the about different types of cranial nerve and the origin of cranial nerve. Not in detail, just a brief of origin of cranial nerve. Origin of cranial nerve. So let's start. From lower classes we know that we have 12 pairs of cranial nerve. 12 pairs of cranial nerve. Namely, first one is optic, second one is olfactory. First one is olfactory, second one is optic, third one is oculomotor, and the fourth one is trochlear. Then trigeminal, abducens, facial, vestibulocochlear, glossopharyngeal, vagus, spinal accessory, and hypoglossal. So we have 12 pairs of cranial nerve. Out of these 12 pairs, the first two cranial nerves arise from the forebrain. And the last 10 cranial nerves, all the last 10 cranial nerves, 3rd to 12th, arise from the brain stem. So the first and second cranial nerves, that is olfactory and oculomotor, arises from forebrain, and 3rd to 12th pair of cranial nerve arises from the brain stem. This brain stem includes what? This brain stem includes our midbrain, our pons, and the medulla oblongata. So talking specifically from where the cranial nerves numbering 3rd to 12th, specifically from where they arise from the part of brain stem. Let's see this. In brain stem we have midbrain, then comes our pons, then we have pontomedullary junction, the junction between the pons and the medulla oblongata, pontomedullary junction, and the medulla oblongata. So from the midbrain we have our 3rd and 4th cranial nerve arising. It means the oculomotor and trochlear nerve arise from the midbrain. From pons we have our trigeminal nerve. Only trigeminal nerve arises from pons. And from pontomedullary junction we have 6th cranial nerve, abducens, 7th cranial nerve, facial, and 8th cranial nerve, that is vestibulocochlear. Now the 6th, 7th, and 8th cranial nerve arises from the pontomedullary junction, and rest all the cranial nerves arises from the medulla oblongata, that is 9th glossopharyngeal, 10th vagus, 11th spinal accessory, and 12th hypoglossal. All these rest 4 cranial nerve arises from the medulla oblongata. One more thing to remember here, all the cranial nerves, that is from 3rd to 12th, they arise from the ventral aspect of the brain, except the trochlear nerve. All the cranial nerves arises from the ventral aspect of brain, except our trochlear nerve. Trochlear nerve arises from the posterior of midbrain. What does I mean to say that? If this is my head, I have my brain here, I have my brain stem here, cerebellum at the posterior side, and pons and medulla. So all the nerves arises like this. They comes anteriorly, but trochlear nerve originates from posterior of midbrain and then it curves and come to the front. Therefore, all the cranial nerves arise from the ventral aspect of brain except trochlear nerve arises from the posterior of the midbrain. So this was a brief of origin of our cranial nerves. Now the major topic of today, the functional component. What is functional component? As the name is suggesting, it is describing the function. It is describing function. It means it is describing the function of cranial nerves. The functional component describes the how the cranial nerves work. It describes the function of cranial nerves. Now we also know that cranial nerves are of three types. Or any nerve is of three types: the sensory, the motor, and the mixed. The sensory nerve, the motor nerve, and the mixed nerve. Now you have to remember or learn whether all the cranial nerves are of which character. For example, not for example, I am going to tell you the first cranial nerve is sensory, the second one is sensory, the third one is motor, fourth one is motor, fifth one is mixed type of cranial nerve, sixth one is motor, seventh one is mixed, eighth one is vestibulocochlear is sensory, ninth glossopharyngeal is mixed, vagus we all know is mixed nerve, and the last two nerves are motor. There are various mnemonics through which you can learn this, the type of nerve we have cranial nerves, but I remember it as a song like sensory, sensory, motor, motor, mixed, sensory, mixed, motor, motor. So for me it is just like a song. I have no mnemonics for this, but you can look for mnemonics of these types of nerves. So very basic, the nerves are of three types: either sensory, either motor, or mixed. Alright, continuing forward. Functional component. So basically, functional component is described from two types of nerve fibers, that is from sensory and from motor. The sensory is also known as afferent fibers, as they carry sensation from the organ to the nerve, and the motor efferent fibers. Motor fibers are also known as efferent fibers. This is basic, nothing new. So motor nerves are also known as efferent fibers, sensory are also known as afferent fibers. Motor nerve carry impulse towards the organ, sensory nerves takes impulse from the organ and convey it to the brain or spinal cord. So first basic, sensory is known as afferent, motor is known as efferent. Second, what we have to know is one term, the general and the spatial. I don't think that this need to be explained. What is general and what is spatial? Anything different or unique, we term it as a spatial, and if it is general, common to everyone, it is general. So two more terms are there, general and spatial. Another important two terms are somatic and visceral. Somatic and visceral. Visceral which are not under our control, somatic which are under our control. So sensory, motor, general, spatial, somatic, visceral. Within these three points, we have the name of all the functional component. If we have motor fibers, then we are going to use the afferent fibers. We are going to use afferent term there, and if we have sensory fibers, we are going to use the afferent term there. if we have general sensory fibers, then we are going to say general afferent fibers. If we have any fiber supplying to the viscera and it is general and sensory in nature, then we are going to say it as general visceral afferent. So the whole play of functional component surrounds in these 3 points. So let's continue. Now it is easier to memorize the functional component. First we are going to look for the motor fibers. Motor fibers. It means all the functional components we are going to use the efferent term here. At last we are going to use the efferent term. So very first functional component for motor fibers is general somatic efferent fibers. General somatic efferent fibers. As the name suggests, it is general somatic efferent. Now, what can you think from this? These fibers were supplied to which organ? It is very basic. Efferent, it means they are the motor fibers. They are going to convey the message from brain to the effector organ. They are general. It means it supplies those organs which are located generally in our body. There is no special thing in it, whether embryologically or about anything. It is not special. It is very general. And the somatic. Somatic means it supplies the somas. They are not the visceral structure. They are under our control. It is very easy. Our muscles, they are under our control. They are our somatic. They are somatic cells. They are derived from soma, and the fibers conveying message to them are efferent fibers. So motor fibers, they are, and they are also the general. They are no special embryologically. So general somatic efferent fibers supply what? General somatic efferent fibers supply the muscles. Muscles derived from somites. So similarly, we have the special visceral efferent fibers. Now there is something special in it. What is it? They supply the muscles. These fibers supply the muscles derived from, these muscles supply these fibers supply the muscles derived from pharyngeal arches. Now all the muscles which are derived from the pharyngeal arches, they are going to be supplied by the special visceral efferent fibers. Third, for the motor fibers, we have functional component known as general visceral efferent fibers. General visceral efferent fibers. General, it means they are going to supply generally. Visceral part of our body are like the muscles of blood vessels, smooth muscles of blood vessels. Here we have striated muscles since it is somatic, but in visceral we have smooth muscles of blood vessels, and also supply to certain glands, like our parotid gland, pituitary gland. General visceral efferent fibers. So for motor fibers, we generally have 3 types of functional components: general somatic efferent fibers, special visceral efferent fibers, general visceral efferent fibers. The general somatic efferent fibers supply the striated muscles derived from somites. These things you have to remember, you have to memorize it. General somatic efferent fibers going to supply our striated muscles derived from somites. Special visceral efferent fibers are going to supply the muscles derived from the mesoderm of pharyngeal arches, and the general visceral efferent fibers are going to supply the smooth muscles of blood vessels or the glands. Now the functional component of sensory fibers. Here instead of using efferent, we are going to use the afferent. So starting from first, there we have general somatic efferent fibers. Here we have general somatic afferent fibers. So general somatic afferent fibers, very much clear. It means it is going to take the sensation from general parts which are developed from our somites. What are those from where the sensation are going to be taken? They are generally the stimulus of pain, touch, pressure. They are very general sensations. There is nothing important about that. So all the pain, touch, pressure, pain, touch, pressure sensations, and of burning sensations. They all are sensory stimulus. They all are sensory stimulus and are going to be read by general somatic afferent fibers. Alright. Second, we have spatial visceral afferent fibers. Spatial visceral afferent fibers. So within our body we have two type of sensations, the spatial and general sensation. The spatial fibers, the spatial sensation are our taste, hearing, the vision and the balance. So all these four sensations are spatial: the taste, hearing, balance and vision. Why they are special? Because they are involved in only one type of stimulus, or in taking only one type of stimulus. So spatial visceral afferent fibers carry the sensation of taste from tongue. Spatial visceral afferent fibers carry the sensation of taste from tongue. Similarly, we have spatial somatic afferent fibers. Spatial somatic afferent fibers. It means they are also going to take the spatial senses, and rest of all the spatial senses are taken by these fibers, like of hearing, of balance and of vision. They are going to be carried out by spatial somatic afferent fibers. The last functional component for sensory fibers we have left with general visceral afferent fibers. These fibers are going to take the ischemic pain sensations from our viscera. It means if we have any pain sensations developing due to the ischemia within our viscera like lungs, stomach, if there are pain sensations developing due to the lack of oxygen or ischemia, they are going to be carried out by the general visceral afferent fibers. So in sensory fibers we have four types of functional component: general somatic, spatial visceral, spatial somatic and general visceral. Spatial visceral and spatial somatic carry out the spatial senses, that is of our taste, hearing, balance and vision. Hearing, balance, vision are developed from our somite cells. Therefore, they are carried out by the spatial somatic afferent fibers, while taste sensation are generally visceral in nature. Therefore, they are carried out by the spatial visceral afferent fibers. General somatic afferent fibers carry out the pain, touch, pressure, burning sensation from our body parts, and general visceral afferent fibers carry the ischemic pain sensation from the viscera. So this is about the functional component of our nerve fibers, of our cranial nerves. Now, if we have a purely sensory nerve, like olfactory, like cranial nerve 1 and cranial nerve 2, olfactory and optic, they will, it is quite obvious that they will carry the functional component of only sensory fibers. It means that they will carry the general somatic afferent fibers, they will carry the general visceral afferent fibers. Not all, I am not saying that they are going to carry the all of them. For example, taking of the olfactory nerve. Let's take an example of olfactory nerve. Olfactory nerve, just there is a, we know that olfactory nerve arises from the forebrain. It pierces our cibriform plate of ethmoid bone and come to our nose. From there, it took the sensation to the forebrain. So what does it carry? It carry only the functional component as it is carrying the sensation of smell. It is carrying the sensation of smell. It means it is a spatial sensation. It is a spatial sensation. Since it is a spatial sensation and it is carrying the sense of smell, it has the functional component as spatial somatic afferent fibers. It has only one function. Olfactory nerve has only one function, that is taking the message of smell. Therefore, it only has the functional component of spatial somatic afferent fibers. It has only the functional component of spatial somatic afferent fibers. If we are looking for further components of sensory fibers, like we are left with spatial visceral afferent fibers, but there is no need of spatial visceral afferent fibers, because we know that spatial visceral afferent fibers are for taste sensation, and olfactory nerves are not involved in taste, they are involved in smell. Therefore, they only carry the fibers of spatial somatic afferent fibers. Similarly, we have optic nerve. They are only involved in vision, which is also what? A spatial sensation. So they also carry only one type of functional component. What is this? Spatial somatic afferent fibers. They are spatial somatic afferent fibers. They have nothing to do with any other nerve fibers, functional components. They have nothing to do with any other functional component. So this is example for sensory. Now if we look for purely motor nerves, what are purely motor nerves? The sensory, motor, the third one. Taking the example of oculomotor nerve. We all know that oculomotor nerve is an eye mover muscle. It supplies all the muscles of the eye except superior oblique supplied by trochlear nerve and lateral rectus supplied by abducens nerve. So they supply all the muscles of eye except the superior oblique and lateral rectus. So it is supplying the muscles. It means they are going to carry the fibers of general somatic. Since they are developed, the muscles of eye are developed from somites. They are not going to develop from pharyngeal arches, mesoderm of pharyngeal arches. So there is nothing special about them. They are going to carry the fibers of muscles derived from the somites. So they have the functional component general somatic. What? The motor is there. So efferent fibers. Let me confirm it. So they have the functional component of general somatic efferent fibers. They supply the muscles of eye. But we also have one more functional component of oculomotor nerve, and that is general visceral efferent fibers. That means they are going to supply the muscles which are visceral in nature. Those muscles are ciliaris muscle, and sphincter pupillae. They are not under our control. Sphincter pupillae are generally responsible for the contraction of our pupil, and ciliaris muscle are generally responsible for the ciliary body, for maintaining the length of the ciliary body. So these muscles are not under control. They are visceral muscles. So oculomotor nerve, it is purely motor nerve. It contains the functional component of motor fibers. Two functional component of motor fibers. What are they? General somatic efferent fibers supplying the muscles of the eye, and the general visceral efferent fibers supplying the ciliaris and the sphincter pupillae muscle. So it is an example of purely motor fiber. Now we have third type of nerve, that is mixed cranial nerve. Mixed cranial nerve. For the mixed cranial nerve, we are taking the example of trigeminal nerve. It is a trigeminal nerve. It means it contains two type of component. It contains functional component of motor fibers, and it also contains the functional component of sensory fibers. So this is how trigeminal nerve contains the motor nerve. It has a motor nerve functional component as spatial, visceral, efferent fiber. Efferent fiber. It means it is going to supply the muscles of the pharyngeal arches developed from the mesoderm. Special visceral efferent fibers supply the muscles of the pharyngeal arches. And what are the muscles of the pharyngeal arches? We know the mylohyoid muscles, muscles of mastication, and the anterior belly of digastric. All these muscles, they are going to be supplied by the trigeminal nerve. So it is supplied by the special visceral efferent fibers of trigeminal nerve. Similarly, we have some more functional components. So this is how trigeminal nerve. Similarly, we have functional components for sensory fibers also. It's sensory fibers also. But in detail, we are going to study about trigeminal nerve in our next video. Not only trigeminal nerve, the different types of cranial nerves and their functional components in detail, we are further going to be studied in our further videos. Till then, thank you.